Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're exploring a seriously fascinating commentary on Matthew chapter 6. Now, this text sits smack dab in the middle of the Sermon on the Mount, and it aggressively shifts our focus right onto our internal devotion and our material security. We're going to unpack the true meaning behind a concept that is, honestly, widely misunderstood, and we'll discover how this ancient text explains human allegiance.
We've all heard the word mammon. It gets thrown around quite a bit in cultural and historical conversations, right? But what if it isn't just a passive synonym for money or currency? What if, historically and textually, it actually represents an ancient, active rival to the human soul? Well, that is the exact mystery we are investigating today.
Section 1. Unmasking the word mammon.
To really understand what we're up against here, we need to look at the original first-century language. The Greek word used is mamōnas. So the crucial point is, this commentary reveals this isn't just passive cash or some pile of coins sitting in a bank. Not at all. It's greed unmasked as a literal form of idolatry. The text treats wealth and property as a personified, rival entity that actively demands your devotion. It's not just an inanimate object, guys. It acts like a master.
Section 2. Earthly versus heavenly treasures.
Okay, so now that we know what mammon actually is, how does it influence us? Well, the source diagnoses the symptoms, and it starts with our human obsession with hoarding. Look at this stark contrast. On one side, we have earthly treasures. The text warns that these are inherently vulnerable. They're subject to rust, thieves, and moths, or sais in the Greek. Basically, you can think of moths as the stock market crash of the ancient world. On the flip side, we've got heavenly treasures. And this isn't some abstract head-in-the-clouds concept. The commentary defines this as active economic generosity and obedience to covenantal ethics. You're storing your wealth where it literally can't be consumed or stolen.
So, why does the location of your treasure matter so much? It all comes down to this profound psychological truth from the text. The location of your treasure inevitably commands the ultimate allegiance of your heart, or cardia in Greek. Jesus is taking our physical possessions and linking them directly to our internal devotion. The reality is, wherever you're sending your treasure, your heart is inevitably going to follow right along behind it.
Section 3. The healthy versus evil eye.
This brings us to a really powerful Hebraic metaphor about how we psychologically orient ourselves toward wealth. And this brilliantly illustrates how an evil eye, or ophthalmos ponēros, represents a spirit of stinginess, greed, and a heart literally darkened by self-centered accumulation. Conversely, a healthy or single eye, ophthalmos haplous, connotes undivided devotion to God and an open-handed, generous spirit. Basically, how you view your money completely determines the light or darkness within you.
Section 4. Serving two competing masters. Now we are hitting the dramatic climax of the text diagnosis. To really grasp the weight of this, we have to put ourselves in the first-century context of household servitude. In the historical practice of slave ownership, a servant simply could not render ultimate loyalty to two competing masters. It was literally impossible. If they gave contradictory orders, the servant had to choose who to obey and who to despise. You couldn't just split the difference or compromise. Which leads right to this famous mic drop moment in the text. No one can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and mammon. Wow. The text forces a definitive, unavoidable choice here. You are either under Yahweh's lordship or you have fallen into the idolatry of mammon. There is no middle ground. You absolutely cannot split your allegiance between the Creator and this personified rival.
Section 5. The root cause, anxiety. But you have to ask, why do we fall into Mammon's trap in the first place? Well, we're shifting from the antagonist to the underlying psychological weapon it uses to enslave us: fear. The text identifies the root cause of our hoarding as anxiety, or merimna. Now, this isn't just your everyday general worry. We're talking about anxious apprehension over physical survival, agonizing over basic life necessities like food, drink, and clothing. That sheer panic of lacking what we need, that is the exact engine driving humans to hoard material wealth and serve mammon.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it maps out the way the text completely dismantles this anxiety using a specific type of Jewish reasoning. It's a flowchart of what's called kal v'homer logic, an argument from the minor to the major. First, look at the birds of the air. They don't hoard food, right? Yet the Father feeds them. Then, look at the lilies of the field.
They don't labor for clothing, yet they're dressed more beautifully than King Solomon. So the major conclusion? Are you not worth more? The logic is bulletproof. If God provides for the lesser creation, He will absolutely provide for you.
Section 6. Freedom through covenantal trust.
So, what is the ultimate antidote to this paralyzing anxiety? How do we break free from Mammon's grip? Well, Jesus offers a transforming initiative built systematically on trust. Let's move to and see how this builds. Step 1. Look at the birds, fed by God, and recognize you are worth infinitely more. Step 2. Look at the lilies, clothed by God in fleeting splendor. Step 3. Based on this rock-solid evidence from nature, reject anxiety entirely. The text diagnoses this intense worry as being of little faith, or oligopistoi. Think about it. If God cares for transient grass that literally burns in an oven tomorrow, He will certainly care for His covenant children.
Now, achieving this freedom requires a massive worldview shift. The text contrasts a Gentile pursuit with a kingdom priority, because obsessive anxiety over material provision actually mirrors pagan assumptions. It's this idea that you're entirely on your own and you have to appease the gods and hoard wealth just to secure your own survival. But this text, it calls for completely resting in the total provision of a heavenly Father who already knows exactly what you need. And here is the climactic imperative, the final solution to breaking Mammon's grip once and for all. Seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. This is what true discipleship looks like. It means completely aligning your life with God's sovereign rule and trusting His provision for your physical needs, instead of letting anxiety turn you into a servant of wealth. We have covered a lot of ground today, unmasking Mammon not just as a synonym for wealth, but as an active, personified master demanding your allegiance and weaponizing your anxiety to keep you hoarding. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Knowing that wealth is an active master demanding your ultimate allegiance, where is your treasure currently stored? Because wherever it is, that is exactly where your heart is too. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.